Hello, this is Renee Hahn with William Ravis Real Estate, bringing you the 2021 year-end Naples real estate market update. We'll also talk about December month over month as we look through some of the highlights for the full year. I wanted to start with some overarching comments to kind of sum up the year. No surprise, demand for Naples lifestyle eclipsed all expectations and actually helped break some pretty significant sales records for the year of 2021. Sellers of homes located in Naples capitalized on a long wave of pent-up demand for property from buyers. And one of the things you're going to see is that the year really went through what I would call the Naples housing market went through a transformation over the last 18 months, again, with record sales activity. The question is whether that is sustainable going forward. So if you look at the market performing in ways it hadn't seen since really 2006 and 7, but I want to make sure people know this is not that market. Yes, things were flying off the market. Homes were selling quick back then. Demand was up. But you have to remember back then, it was up because of inflated availability of money for people who could not afford houses otherwise. Fast forward to 2021, there are a lot of reasons why we saw the market increase, whether it was the desire to get to new locations, whether it was low ability to borrow money for very low interest rates, whether it was a change in focus and lifestyle. All of those things created not just a national trend, but certainly one in Naples that really benefited sellers and frustrated buyers. So we don't expect, if you talk to most brokers, if you talk to agents, economists, we don't expect to see the kind of trajectory in 2022 that we saw in 2021. Now, does that mean that we expect to see a dive in prices? Absolutely not, because the law of availability or inventory so demand are at odds. You've got more people who want to come here, and that doesn't seem to be letting up in 2022. And you still have low inventory. So the trends we're seeing again is it was a potentially unrepeatable year in the foreseeable future. It benefited sellers greatly in terms of their home moving quick, getting top dollar, but we don't necessarily think at the same pace that it's going to be sustainable. A couple other things that I want to point out before I get into some of the statistics. This year, Naples, let me start by saying Naples has always been a heavy cash market. It's one of the reasons why we tend to be a bit more insulated through some of the peaks and valleys that cause property values to go down in other locations. Foreclosures is a big trigger for that. Well, if you own your home outright and you don't have borrowed money on the home, you tend not to see foreclosures in those markets. And that certainly is true of Naples. So that's normal. What wasn't necessarily normal is the fact that very rarely did we see many mortgage deals at all. Does that mean that people stopped borrowing money? Not at all. But as the market got to be more competitive, cash deals, because they didn't have the same contingencies, making them much cleaner deals, were more readily available and of course preferred by sellers. So it made it really, really tough if you were a buyer in this market and you were taking advantage of the low interest rates and using funds to purchase. Now, what did a lot of buyers that were using mortgage funds do? They simply waived their finance contingency. So it didn't prevent them from being able to borrow money to help with the purchase, but it certainly took the contingency off, which put the weight of making sure their loan was approved or that they had cash equivalent to purchase it on the shoulder of the buyers. The other thing that I saw a lot of this year was houses bouncing on and off the market. There was a little bit of a shoot and then aim mentality. As you can imagine, if you're a buyer, particularly if you needed, not wanted, but needed to buy a house in this market, you knew that if it hit in the morning, it may be gone by the afternoon. So what was happening is buyers were quickly putting in very attractive offers on the property and then sitting back to reflect, which often led, not always, but often led to deals falling apart very quickly, either before the first deposit came in, shortly after, during inspections. So you definitely saw a surge in the number of homes going off the market quickly, coming back on. One of the things I did early on and avoided a good number of this is didn't accept as-is contracts that gave buyers the right to cancel for any reason during that inspection period. So as things went on, you saw more people start to ask for standard contracts versus as is. That started to curtail it a little bit and slow it down. But those were certainly some of the things that you saw going on in the marketplace. Now let's look at year-end sales. So we're going to talk for a minute about inventory. But if you look at closed sales, the closed sales momentum reached its zenith just as summer arrived, but began to dim when the inventory could no longer meet the rapid pace of demand during the second half of 2021. As a result, there were 20% fewer closed sales from July to December than January through June. So you saw a lot more activity at the front of the year in terms of closed sales, and then things slowed down during the back half of the year. But even with those two contrasts, we were still up overall for a full year of nearly 26%. Now, if you look at December 2021 versus December 2020, overall closed sales were down 24%. So that's what we mean. First half of the year had strong closed sales, which really compensated for a lighter back end of the year with closed sales. During 2021, pending sales listings increased 14.8% to 18,664 versus the same time in 2020, which had pending sales at 16,254. However, like closed sales activity, much of the pending sale activity occurred in the first half of the year when inventory was more plentiful. So we know that overall sales went up, but then you look at inventory. So I just talked about sales year over year went up nearly 26%, but inventory for that same period of time was down almost 77%. This is one of the statistics that does not differ year over year versus December month over month, because both December month over month and 2021 whole year versus 2020 both had inventory down nearly 77%. So that left not enough homes. Strong buyer demand devoured the inventory, resulting in this kind of decrease in the number of homes for sale. It hit a record low of 1,042 properties. That's low. When you look at 2020 was about 4,500. This decrease in demand was hard to continue to sustain for buyers. Those that entered the market may have turned into renters for a period of time because there just wasn't enough inventory. Now, again, the likelihood that we're expecting in 2022 for the inventory to increase fourfold, we think is unlikely. So we expect we're going to see 2022 also be an inventory constrained year. In fact, we went into 2022 with 3,000 fewer listings than the same time last year. So again, we've still got continued demand going on, but certainly continued restrained and constrained number of homes available for purchase. And last, no surprise, when you've got nearly 7% inventory decrease, nearly 27% closed sales increase, that means there's demand out there. We saw that come to shape in pricing. So the advantage the inventory had played in the favor of sellers when it came to prices. Year over year, the median sales price was up 20.3% from 2021. If you look at December of 2021 versus December of last year, it was actually the median price was up 26%. So rising home values in Naples inspired many sellers in 2021, as reflected in the 17.4% annual increase in average close prices. So if you look at the full year in 2020, the average sales price, and this cuts across all types of homes, whether it's condos or single family, in 2020, the average sales price was $688,091. In 2021, it was up to 807,695. What I saw happen a lot is if somebody came into the market, let's just say at 500,000, and they were expecting to be able to purchase a villa. So 500,000 a villa. What happened is the type of home people were able to buy with that money shifted downward. What do I mean by that? That $500,000 villa purchaser now became a $500,000 condo, more apartment style purchaser, because now that $500,000 villa cost $700,000, and that flew all the way through different types of homes. If somebody was looking for a $700,000 to $900,000 house, that was closer in, maybe a little bit larger, they were now looking at that same price for something much smaller and further out. So the market really did shift. Again, what I've told people, if you're a seller, it certainly is a good time to buy. The types of sellers, or to sell rather, the types of sellers we're seeing are people who are moving out of the area. Maybe they've reached a point in their life where they want to get closer to family, or maybe they're downsizing and need a smaller place. We're seeing when there is a death in the family, homes are being sold. If somebody's lifestyle has shifted in the type of home. Other than that, most people who are in the area and need a place to live are choosing to do renovations over selling right now because of their lack of ability to find the next home that they're looking for to meet all the needs. So there's certainly an opportunity for sellers to continue to have the benefits of a strong selling market. For buyers, I know it's incredibly frustrating, but I can assure you that there are still homes left to buy. I have several buyers that I've worked with this year and several that I continue to work with to find the home. You certainly need to evaluate your price point and your expectations related to that price point, but there are properties there to purchase. My encouragement to you is try to keep the deals as simple and clean as possible. It is really frustrating when you are paying a premium price and you want to make sure that all of your needs and expectations are met. But the challenge with that is there are 5 people or more standing behind you ready to have that property and not complicate it with the expectations that you may be bringing to the table. So make sure that you work with a qualified and experienced agent so that your needs are looked after. The good news in this, and it's not necessarily good news in and of itself, it's not as though you're going into a community and paying for the only home that's overpriced. We are in a national and certainly local situation where the market is not alone in this. You are experiencing the same price advantage to sellers that many are. So you're not alone, but it is definitely time to make sure that you evaluate what your needs are and get paired up with someone that can help you meet those. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.